Hi, I'm back. It's currently 12:31 p.m. on Friday, October the 25th. I'm running ragged here. Um, I'm really always hampered by shortage of time to be able to get on to the internet. I've said that before. Just please keep that in mind when you watch my videos, and I'm just warp speeding through them. I've got 2.5 hours left to generate this video and to conduct my other personal work. 4 hours every Tuesday and Friday now that I have to get online. Before I uh, get started, I want to do some bits and bytes. I want to thank Bron Cooley for the nice email I got through YouTube, I guess. And then Christine, who suggested I go to the East City Ranch. Yeah, I'm fairly close to that ranch. In actuality, years ago, Siobhan suggested that we go there with some other person she knew, but she never got back to me. I understand that she lives in Ireland. She'd have to fly over here and coordinate that activity. I offered to drive her there, but it just did not happen. The first email I ever got through YouTube was someone by the name of, well, actually, I don't know the person's name. It's a channel. I was John Lennon. Thank you, my friend, for being complimentary and giving me some support in proceeding forward with my channel. Uh, Getting back on track now, I wanted to do something maybe a little bit unusual. I am very, very concerned about the takedown of this economy now. And I've been following Alex Jones at Infowars.com a great deal over the years. And I'm convinced that what's in store for us is not only the takedown of the economy, but through the news that he's talking about, but there's going to be a convergence between that and what Jay Essex is intending to do. I mean, we're talking about ex- existential change here and calamity, as I see it, in the public at some point. So, I years ago I got wind of the fact that the economy was tanking while I was watching survivalblog.com, the granddaddy of all self-sufficiency um, websites. And I made the decision to cash in and retire and move to North Idaho here. And ever since, and that was in 2010, and it's currently 2024. So for the last 14 years, I've been trying to hunker in, hunker down in preparation for the economy tanking. And it's a rough thing. I'm very concerned, however, because what I've noticed in the past is that the Spiritual Foundation members are not taking it to task, producing videos, saying something to the effect that they have great concern of what's going to happen to them when everything comes down. If you follow me, I'm being very brisk in describing what's at stake here, but I think you get the gist of where I'm going with this. Back in January of 2020, just before the COVID thing broke uh, uh, on the scene, I actually drafted a long letter and I gave it to six of the consults out there. Was it six or four consults and two people who I was able to get email addresses from off of YouTube, and explained to them the rigors, the hardship that I was going through in stocking up on food even at that time in preparation for maybe shortages that would arrive subsequent to the COVID break. And I never got a return acknowledgement to that. And it kind of freaked me out. Later that year, 2020, somewhere around April or May, I think Jay um, put out a little barb on in one of his videos that people should be stocking up on food, and that's all he said. And that kind of freaked me out because it's like it's too little too late almost. It's it's not his forte um, to talk about the ins and outs of hunkering down for calamity. He is he's leaving it up to us to take the bull by the horns and figure things out for ourselves. He can't hold our hands for everything that's going to be happening out there. He's besieged by trying to uh, correct humanity, do good for humanity, if not the universe, if you get my drift there. And he doesn't have time for something like this. So, what I always thought was in the future, people would come on board and produce videos or raise questions about what they should do to prepare. And if you're a city folk, it's easy for you to thrive and survive because the store is right there. I live in the mountains, and the closest store is 35 miles away, Super One, in Newport, Washington. Actually, most of us tend to want to cross state line and go shopping over there as opposed to shopping in Idaho because it seems to be cheaper. In any case, um, I want to assume that there won't be people that will come on board and understand that as a collective, the membership should work together now in assisting each other, helping each other prepare for what's coming down the pike. And because I'm short on time for generating, these videos, all I can do, I think, is just warp speed it through, like today, just warp speed it through some of the key YouTube and websites, YouTube channels and then websites to go to start to learn about what it's taken me years to learn. And keep in mind, when Jay talks about drop shipping these food generators, you're talking about much more than just the act of dropping it, which the ETs would do for people, not maybe for everybody, but certainly for some people that he's promised to assist. But the logistics involved with that after the fact, those machines have to be supplied with the substance, the grain, or whatever it is that he says is being grown by the ETs to supply those machines. That's going to have to be drop shipped too. Imagine, 3,000 members of the Spiritual Foundation uh, being supplied with these food generators. I mean, just as an example, I mean, the ETs are going to be going crazy, you know, trying to figure out how to coordinate all this stuff. I don't think it's going to happen. That's my opinion. I may be wrong. I believe in the philosophy of two is one, one is none. So let's say, for example, he does find the ETs who will drop ship people, these food generators. Well, there's nothing wrong with having a storage of food as a supply to refer to in the interim that it's dropped or not dropped, whatever. So I would highly recommend that. Now, this letter I sent originally back in January of 2020 to the consultants was ideas on where to go for the food. And at this time, I got to tell you, it's getting tougher and tougher to find the best sources to go to for anything, canned food, grains, um, and I was lucky enough, fortunate enough to stock up on stuff years ago. So, I'm set for a couple years at least. However, I did find out that stocking up on a ton and a half of all these different grains became a real became problematic because I discovered I was allergic to flour, for example, and one and I swear to you, I got a ton of uh, organic red winter wheat from where did I? My mind is the Honeyville Grain.com. That was years ago. That's when a sack of 50 pounds was going for $20.64. The last time I checked, a couple years back, it was going for what, $80? That's organic stuff, right? So that's how much prices have increased. This company, uh, Honeyville Grain, specializes in freeze-dried food, and that's something I would recommend that people stock up on. Um, there doesn't seem to be the variety of that uh, foods they used to offer there. Uh, for whatever reason, I don't know. I'd have to call them up, I guess, and find out what's going on. Nonetheless, as I continue to talk here, I've got a list of I've got a list of channels and websites I'd highly recommend that you keep in mind. I guess I list them in the comments section below when I subsequently upload this video. And this isn't this is a short list. I have many, many more channels and websites to recommend that could complement the websites and channels of which you enjoy listening to or viewing. It's just oh, they got some kind of a squabble there in the other room. I'm at the library. Oh, anyway, in any case, just take it for what it is. I am going to move forward, and again, excuse me for the lapse in the continuity of what I'm saying. My mind is jumping around. I am going still through um, DNA changes. I can feel it in my brain, and it's hitting me really hard, and I'm dizzy most of the time. And I'm just comparing notes maybe with you if you're a senior, letting you know that, hey, this is what goes on in our older age. You young folks are lucky, man. You probably just tripped right through the DNA change and it was no big deal to you. I don't know. Nobody, produces a video explaining their experience. It's just what they've done, metaphysically and their abilities. I tend to recall that they only produce, maybe I'm wrong. In any case, at the top of the list here, I have um, Alex Jones being my favorite go-to news broadcaster uh, because he gets tomorrow's news today. And he really is known throughout the world at this point of being the number one news sites to go to. Used to be Drudge Report, but they've been taken over by the bad folks that exist out there, and they're not conveying the best of news. In any case, the way to get in touch with his news stream, because his Infowars.com website might be taken down November 16th or something like that. The alternative would be go to, and I'll put this again, these names and website channels in the comments to below. It's X at AJN, Alex Jones Network, I guess, AJN Live. The next one would be X at Real Alex Jones. When Alex Jones presents his programs, he has the most uh, professional people come on and explain what it is that's happening out there in the world beyond his expertise to guide people along through this decline in our economy and God. In any case, I've got to tell you that I took it to heart years and years ago, even before watching the Alex Jones show at Infowars.com. I was listening to Silver reports, and how there are people out there that know a day in advance where the pricing of silver was going to go. And I invested in silver, which has been subsidizing my life predominantly, at least in the past. And right now, after having gone through 5 brokers, 5 different precious metal uh, brokers, I've come to the conclusion that someone to go to would be Kirk Elliott Precious Metals at kepm.com. I would highly recommend it. That you buy silver, stay away from gold. There's probably going to be uh, more profit in silver. The gold I have went up $700 an ounce over the past year. And still, silver, if you were to buy silver coins, I would highly recommend that you do so. Call them up, they'll give free advice. Now, I recognize that people might be short of money, but the idea that one should acquire something as maybe a bartering unit, along with the idea of an investment unit, might be helpful down the trail. We don't know where the dollar's going to go. Time, I'm, I have to hesitate because I wish I could just explain myself in depth more, um, to make things even more clear than what I'm trying to convey. I guess I'm always apologetic because I have a high standard of myself that most often I don't reach when I want. If you, for example, want to divert some of your money and invest in um, silver as well as gold, get on YouTube and learn about it for yourself. There's plenty of people to talk about it as an investment vehicle and survival um, coinage. I would, if you decide to do so, I would invest in something like this. These are little booklets that I purchased originally that have the these quick tools to use for, as you can see, an indentation there. You can put your coin in there, and then you can balance it on the edge of something. You can put the coin through this. Whoops. You can put the coin through the slot there to see if it has the right width. There are a lot of counterfeits out there. Personally, I would stay away from, eBay and Amazon, and go through a broker. Now, I've been through 5 brokers, and there's always complications. I have not yet gone through kepm.com. I would get online and do some research and hear what people have to say about it. But uh, if the dollar bill is going to collapse, and you probably have heard this many times before, you might want to redivert some of your assets into coinage. I don't know what else more I can say. I've got 2 more books here of coins. One is for maple leaf, 1 ounce and 1/2 ounce, 1/4, 1/10 ounce. Get on the website associated with Fish Instruments. I think it's just fisch.com, and look at what they have to say. Look at the videos on YouTube. But the idea is that I was able to confirm what it is I bought through these simple measuring devices. And there's another device that they're offering on their website now that I would think you'd want to get, but be prepared to pay some money. Each one of these books is around $219, but it's going to be saving you money if your coins are not genuine. You'll find out right away. Hey, get get. In fact, you're going to be there at the broker's office, and you're going to measure them, right? If you get them online, like through KEPM, they've got this a stellar reputation, so I think you're going to be okay with them. But God, these other brokers I worked with, it's just so many problems involved with shipping and insurance and this, that, and the other. Okay, I'm going to move on. I've already talked about honeyveal crane. Let me mark these things down if I can find my pen here. And keep in mind that these websites I go to are the cream of the crop. I mean, I've really researched the value of where to go for the kind of information they offer, and been um, that's having been occupied for years, even going through the internet and surveying what's out there. And I actually have a list that's like 6 pages long. Anyway, that I'll talk about that some other time. I want to bring up the topic of news sources other than Alex Jones' show at Infowars.com. Joel Skousen, J O E, it'll be listed below, JoelSkousen.com. He's the definitive um, expert on uh, international concern for nuclear war. This is a topic that's been coming up a lot lately. I mean, you name a name in the alternative media, and they're talking about the potential of nuclear war. It may not happen because I understand that the ETs are hovering above the silos, and Jay will be involved with stopping that. But you never know. What about if there's a dirty bomb? And I'm talking way off topic. I know I am, but folks, if we're talking about this change that is going to be happening between what Jay is doing and then the rest of the world is planning on their own to direct towards us, it's going to be horrible out there. You need to be prepared. Um, Joel Skousen he publishes a newsletter, and you can look at uh, one of his newsletters, maybe a week old or 2 days old or something, by going to that website and reading what he has to say. The guy knows what he's talking about. Next website to go to, and they're not in any particular topic order, is Webstaurant. That's where you can go for bulk food. I don't buy bulk food anymore from other companies uh, because it's just I don't get what I want. At Webstron, it's their uh, their agenda is all about providing for restaurants, supplies, foods, and spices and everything else. You need to load up on stuff. I'm going to get a big chunk of money at some point here in another 2 weeks, hopefully, and I'm going to buy, Indian spices. I love Indian foods. Um, and I've got all the grain I need, and nuts, and what else? I don't know. Whatever I can get, I guess, as for my protein, other than what I have. I've stocked up on meat. We need meat. A lot of people would say no, but you know, it's hard not to have good solid protein, and that's the way I stand. And Jay, he talks about the fact that the animals give their bodies to us, and it's not like it's sad, but it's not like we have many choices. Now, if you're vegetarian or something and you've been thriving on vegetables and stuff for years, send me an email and tell me how to do it. I can't, I don't have the time to research all this stuff uh, when I'm just trying to hunker down and conduct my affairs elsewhere, and as opposed to the learning of something as complex as this. Anyway, I'm talking too much here. What else do I have here? If you're going to grow your own food, load up on seeds, because I've read several articles years ago to the effect that the government wants to lock down and shut down seed stores so we can't grow food for ourselves. And that's going to be a tough one. Load up on seeds, which I've done. Um, and I've gone to Johnny Seeds primarily. And I've gotten what I want, and I grow vegetables from that source. But what I haven't done is to take the freeze dryer that I purchased from harvestright.com, very expensive machine, to freeze dry the food that I grow. I'm going to have to do that next summer if we're still alive here in this world. Jeez, the news is talking about imminent war, imminent nuclear, and this, that, and the other. That blows me away. Um, what else can I say here? God, I'm trying to sort through the listing I have real quick. Oh, here's one that you need to know for sure. I noticed, God, this is going to be a long video, sorry. I noticed that Jay Essex, in some of his more recent videos, seemed to have difficulty in breathing. And I narrowed in and focused on that because I have the same thing going. And it's been tough for me to breathe for several reasons. The most prominent reason being that as we've been cranked up, our brain grows and it puts pressure, I believe, on the nasal passages. And boy, I need to talk about that experience. And so what I did was I wrote an email to Kate Fletcher and explained to her that Jay may be suffering from this and that he needs to go through and conduct some nasal cleanses. There's a company here that specializes in products and um, uh, I guess, yeah, just products and what one can use for clearing the nose. There's a machine out there that they advertise on Navara, something like that. They advertise on TV. Freaking $100. Jesus Christ. No such thing as Jesus Christ, right? Well, there was, but that's another story, right? So I would go to xlear.com, xlear.com, and find out what they have to say in the the most recent technology involved with cleaning the nose anyway, because not only because it would help widen the passages of the nose and help you breathe clearly, but there's a lot of pathogens out there that we want to avoid, right? I'm sure the environment is not getting any cleaner, so at some point I'm going to have to buy uh, Navara, whatever I should have looked it up before I made this video. Um, I need to buy that thing, even if it's expensive, and help myself breathe better. So I talked about Honeybeal Grain, Jill Skousen, Webstrom, Clear, KEPM. In order to really facilitate the massive amount of videos, oh, that might have been a metaphysical cough there. Every time I point my fingers at my throat, I tend to cough and gag. Right now, I'm not, well, yeah, I did actually. Particularly when I hold a cell phone. I call up a buddy every night and we chat and I just automatically start to gag. So anyway, I try to keep my fingers pointed somewhere else. You need to get involved with maybe a software program called 4K Video Downloader. 4kvideodownloader.com maybe, or download.com. It's worth the money, whatever it is now. $37 to be able to integrate and synchronize the massive downloading of channels on YouTube that you want. And of course, there's other software out there you can buy, but to do this, but I've just stuck with 4K Video Downloader over the years, and I probably have at least 14 terabytes of stuff I've downloaded off the internet over the years. And I got started at the downloading stuff of topics of all, you know, kinds, probably back since 2013, something like that. But it will help you to download videos you may need if you want to learn about growing, for example, hydroponically, you know, how to coordinate getting the equipment from the best suppliers out there to make it possible to grow inside your house. I'm just trying to push myself forward and talk about this stuff. God, I really need to go into detail. But Harvest Right, that machine, oh, you got to look at that website and see what that thing does. A very good machine, apparently. I just have put it in storage and haven't had time to open it up and use it yet. Next, I would like to say one channel among many that I go to is Wrangle Star, Wrangle Star, and I learn about self-sufficiency. Gentleman is Christian, but the approach of Christians more often than not are very pleasing. They're very kind in their presentation and what do they have to say. But he talks about anything and everything you'd want to be involved with when it comes to lardering down and preparing, getting supplies. If you're preparing for the takedown of this economy, which we're into, it's been a slow burn, but at some point it's going to break. That and many more websites I'll offer in the future to go to. What I'm trying to do is pare down to bite-size website channel referrals, so you won't be lost in the quandary of trying to figure out which one is the best to go to. I've been to a lot of them, and everybody has something good to say. Don't get me wrong. It's just that you need to go at this point with time of the essence. Time being the essence, you need to go right away to those channels and websites that'll help you the most. I like this channel though, Scotty Kilmer, Kilmer. He's a repair guy. I repair my vehicles myself, and you can get guidance from looking at these videos, and a ton of more people who produce just as great videos. But I like Scotty Kilmer. He's a funny guy, and I've learned how to save tons of money on repairing my own vehicles. Now we're getting into the last three channels, websites I want to talk about, because at some point I wasn't seeing, hearing, viewing all the information I needed about how to progress, how to understand metaphysicality. I had to supplement that viewing by going to YouTube and looking up people like Will Nutter, aka Johann Fritz, and somebody like Penny Bradley. All have been in the SSP and Nachwaffen, who talk about that experiences in space. I've been in the SSP, and I don't intend to explore that realm at all. I don't even want to think about going to, somebody can help me recall that experience. I do know that that I suspect, I should say rather, that the skills, metaphysical skills I have today are related to the experience I had when I was on Mars. Apparently I was fighting spiders. I see that. And metaphysically. But I just, at this point in my life, I'm at 72, I'm just too old to get involved with shamanic counseling. It's just, I don't want to deal with it. So there's plenty of other people out there that can talk about their experiences that you can refer to. Penny Bradley, you can query her on YouTube and find a lot of information about her and her interview. She's on her own channel called Penny Bradley Nachwaffen Pilot, and then there's another channel called Reality Brief that she's on. You'll find it interesting to see what it is that she and other people have done there in space as they're flying around doing their thing. Jay doesn't talk about this stuff, and he doesn't want to complicate the the process. Hey, something. Oh, there we go. Camera faded out there for a second. He doesn't want to complicate his agenda by rediverting uh, your attention to something other than own his own philosophy, I guess you could say. And that's good to a point, but at some point you need to reach out. Well, I'm telling you what to do. I'm just suggesting. Um, I guess I guess who was it? This gal, Christine. Was it Christine or Braun Cooley? Made the suggestion that I shouldn't tell people what to do, which I don't believe I am. But if I am, my apologies. I'm making suggestions and showing what it is I've done to cultivate my own metaphysicality. So I hope I'm not being distracting here, and and I'm on target with the idea that I want to keep true to that perspective. I am going to publish this video the way it is, so whatever faux pas I make in speaking or in my thinking, it's just the way it's going to have to be. Um, the last the last two, let's see, one, two, three even. The last three websites I want to talk about, one of them being Al Jazeera. I get my international news from Al Jazeera. I'm Jewish. And this this website, or actually I get it mostly from YouTube. I stay in touch with this news because being as intensively empathic as I am, I cringe and I just feel so deeply sad about what's going on overseas. And both Palestinian and Jewish. I don't make a distinction. People are being killed, and it just really affects my heart. The only thing that keeps me going is understanding that they go to the second dimension, and there with Lily in 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 spirit there takes care of people. I've made contact with Lily before, and I'm telling you, if the experience of feeling her love is something that uh, we all have when we cross over, that it's going to make these people who have the saddest, most horrible lives at this point. It'll make it better for them. I just hold on to that the idea. I if Jay was to give me a month to coordinate my affairs and get things in line, and and then he'd allow me to cross over, I'd do it. I mean, feeling Lily's love is incredible. It's ineffable. It's hard to describe. He has said in one of his videos that it's a love more deeper than what one could feel from one's own mother, and that's true. I mean, she came and visited me and in spirit, and blew me away. I think I talked about that in maybe one of my first videos. In any case, I'm just deeply affected. And by the way, I download these videos and archive them from Al Jazeera. It rips me up, man. And we're talking about the Middle East, but also, Africa. People are starving and all that, and just it. I don't know. It just really affects me. Wish I could do something about it. So, so anyway, and just to tell you, there is a consultant out there that I know who does the same thing. Feels very deeply about people who are impoverished and suffering the worst plight in their life, being killed and all that. That consultant downloads these kind of videos. I don't know whether there is downloading of Al Jazeera, but nonetheless, there's an archive being made. So I'm not alone in this endeavor at all. I got to wrap this up. Boy, we're going on, what, 40 minutes? Oh my gosh. I would recommend, lastly, looking at vivabarneslaw.locals.com to hear what an attorney, Mr. Barnes, talks about in his um, appraisal, in his description of where this country is going to. We need to look at different types of perspective, um, different types of news to put together all this fragmented news that exists out there together into something cohesive enough for us to lean on and refer to as we try to strategize our own survival here in this crazy world. He's something else. He's something that um, even Alex Jones admits has a mindset that overcomes the brilliancy, if I could say it, of his own, and understanding the nuance of politics out there, for example, what's going on. Anyway, I'm going to cut this video short, and I'm getting better at the videos. You can tell. Yeah, when Frank Zoo, good man, started out, he was a little bit hesitant on his productions that he puts up on YouTube in the beginning, but now he's super good. He just flows, and that's where I'd like to be. I'd like my mind to click in and give you even better videos than what I'm offering you. Nonetheless, this is going to have to do. My apologies, it's a long video. I forever apologize on anything, just because that's my personality. And again, thank you very much for the comments I got through the emails. I've got to figure out, I got to troubleshoot how to get the comments to come underneath my videos. I've programmed my channel to allow it, but for some reason it doesn't work. I wish someone out there could, I don't know, teach me how to do it, but because I'm short of time. Time is of the essence. I can't go back and research which will take up more time than I have available here. So at some point something will happen. You know what? Maybe I should post an alternative email address. That's what I can do. I've got, it's 1:14. The library closes at 4 p.m. Let me do that. And if you have comments for in the meantime, send me emails directly as opposed to through YouTube. I can't respond to your emails through YouTube, of course. So I'm going to head on now. It's time to stop, okay? And as I said in one of my very first videos, be good. Okay? Here we go. Here comes the stop.